Hello, I am Servant James and I am listening to Jesus. Today I have a question, and the question is, why are there so many religions? But first of all, I want to remind you we have a website, sheephere.org, and come on and read some of the words the Lord has me write. Those words are so that I can read them in the future and hear the Lord better. And if you want to believe that Jesus Christ has died and risen from the dead and believe that Jesus Christ speaks to me, you might hear the Lord's voice speak to you while you read those words. And there's a couple books from there called Servant James, Listening to Jesus on Amazon. So, first of all, let's get into this question. Why are there so many religions? And we could sit here and say, people say speaking to God is God's way and religion is man's way. And Lord says, eh. And Bible, I've asked this question more than a few times, and Lord's answered me the same way every single time. See, a whole long time ago in the Bible, we people thought we were just like, we were so great, and it wouldn't be so good for us to spread out and do a bunch of different things. We decided to get together and build this big old temple to ourselves to show that we are so great. And they called it the Tower of Babel. And God got mad. And when God gets mad, you never know what he's going to do. So he got so pissed off, he got a whole bunch of groups of people and changed their colors, changed the way they spoke, the way they acted, and a whole bunch of other things. And he sent them out through the earth and says, that's what I want you to do. And now, years later, a lot of people are trying to have these automatic translations. We got to make sure everybody understands us. And it doesn't matter how much you think you can get everybody together. God's not going to have any of that. I would like to say I understand it, but I would be lying, because my ways are not God's ways. And, I've gone to several different churches, even in the same denominations, and they're completely different from the other things. Now, I know there's a lot of things that are the same. They do, certain churches, they go through this. I love going to the Lutheran church. Most of the time they have some kind of food thing afterwards. I love that. Food is one of the most spiritual things you can do. And, when you go to the Catholic Church with my mom and some other people, they always have their communion things. And a lot of them have food things going on too. They have these big old huge things going on. And you go to these other places, they have barbecues. And some places are just full of just music. I mean, the music. And they're full of music. And you go someplace and they're stern. They don't really have music, and we got to do things this way, and their congregations are like this and that and the other, and some are like, you have to dress this way and you have to act that way. They don't do this because we're all the same. They do this because we're all different. And I was sitting there saying, well, God, I am so great, I listen to you. I said, I could have a church and they wouldn't complain about me. He said, shut up! He says, if you did that, they would complain to you just like everybody complains all these other people. You watch these people, they'll hear somebody say, well, that person's bad for this reason. And they'll start looking at this preacher, well, he makes a lot of money, so that's bad. And then they go, Well, this church, they don't pray the preacher very much, so that's bad. Who is right? Nobody's right. And everybody's right at the same time. Because however you see the church you're going to or the people that are in there, you might be right. Lord tells me I'm regularly wrong, so some things I'm right with and some things I'm wrong with. But I go where the Lord directs me. And that's it. And, oh yeah, I see things I don't like everywhere I've been as far as church goes. And people I meet and people I know, friends of mine. My friends will piss me off. But, can you act like the Bible? And even when there's a difference, live peaceable with all men? See, a lot of people like to say things have to be this way and that way and the other. And the Lord keeps telling me, not that I hear correctly. He says, if you learn to have more peace with what you see and what you do and where you're going, you will have less problems with anger. Because a lot of times I'll see things and I forgive them, Lord. And he's like, well, why are you getting mad at the first place? Just because I tell you something about somebody and tell you I don't like it doesn't mean you have to get mad at them. They're following the Lord according to what they think is right. It doesn't mean, even though they may not be right, doesn't mean it's bad. A lot of people do things that aren't right, which aren't bad. The Lord, there are a lot of people out there that have real bad intentions in their heart towards other people, and they'll do things just to be mean to them. He says most of the cases, most people aren't really looking to be mean to other people. They they think certain things are right in their sight, and they do them. And you get all these different religions. We do things this way. You do things that way. And because you do things that way, you're wrong. And because you do things this way, you're wrong. And they get in these big old fights over things that God put there on purpose. Because Jesus Christ, he wants everybody to make it to heaven. But he doesn't want anybody to exalt themselves over everybody else and say that, oh, we're the greatest on earth because we got the biggest congregation. That's not really why he gathers people. He gathers people so they focus on him, not on themselves. Have a time to have rest and peace and focus on something besides your own selves. And yes, he tells me over and over again, I am the most important person to me, but I need time to focus. And I focus on Jesus Christ every day because those are my moments of peace. Because a lot of the times when I'm focusing on Jesus Christ, I get this clarity in my mind. And with that clarity, I can see answers to my problems. And I can see I could be doing this and I could be doing that. And he goes, yes, but can you listen to me for a couple minutes? I want you to bring your attention off yourself. And yes, I will talk about you. That's what he tells me. And he talks about me. And he brings stuff to about me. But that's him bringing to light things that I should look at instead of what I am looking at, because I'm not usually looking at my own self. Hey, I don't think I have problems. Because a lot of people don't see. You can see my problem. You look at me, you're probably saying, look at that guy. He's got some problems. And I probably do. But I don't see them. And the Lord says, look, you got some problems, buddy. And I'm like, not me. And this is what I go through. And he's just, and most of the time he doesn't sit here and talk about my problems. He just talks to me. He says, and that's what is on sheep here. He just talks to me and he just tells me things. And he has me write them down. And later I look at them and I say, where did this come from? Why is he making me look at this direction? And it's not that I could understand everything he's telling me. It's just he's being friendly to me and having a regular relationship with me, which everybody is supposed to have. The Holy Bible was put into effect so people would realize God speaks to people and God does things to get their attention, that they give them direction for their life. And when you hear Jesus Christ speaking to you, you will have better clarity of everything you're doing in your life. At least that's what's happening to me. It doesn't happen with everybody, he tells me. Some people just say, that's not real, that's my burrito or something like that. And I just encourage you to come to our website, sheephere.org, and come and read a few words the Lord's speaking to me. Click the donate button, throw, lots of money in there, no money, it doesn't matter. Be blessed. Have a nice day.